There's no doubt Kimberly Welsh has a love for animals, especially when they're in distress.
So I think what happened as the summer went by, they had less and less grass to pasture on, and he was only putting out like 2 round bales for 130 to 150 cows and babies.
The seasons changed in Mason County. The owner of beef cattle, Larry Eldridge, ended up in the hospital.
They ended up keeping him because he had bilateral pneumonia. I called his brother to make sure that somebody was going to be taking care of the cows, and he said he would.
Eldridge's stepdaughter says he had a stroke about 5 years ago. He used to have a farmhand, but no longer does. So now she goes to check on the cows. She says by February, more than 30 were dead.
One of the most heart-wrenching pictures that I saw was a small calf. And behind that was the baby. And it was just horrific to me. Everybody feels bad because we had no idea what was going on up there.
So Welsh wanted to help the man. She calls a friend. She says she reached out to Mason County Animal Control, the Sheriff's Office, State's Attorney's Office, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, the Department of Agriculture, and Governor J.B. Pritzker's office.
It's hard because I care about him, but I also care about those cows. And I know he can't take care of them, and I don't know what to do.
The Mason County Sheriff told me his office received complaints regarding the cows, but deferred all of their questions to the state's attorney. Here's what I was able to find out. State's Attorney Zach Bryant says this started with the Department of Agriculture. His office started looking into the issue after. Charges have been filed against Eldridge, including cruel treatment and several counts of violation of owner's duties. Those are misdemeanors. Eldridge was never arrested. Bryant says that's a case-by-case basis and feels he filed appropriate charges.
We've already said we'll help find these cows homes, but who's going to give us the authorization to do so? Why are they dragging their feet on this?
That's ultimately up to the state. Welsh says her cries for help have fallen on deaf ears.
He deserves to have a good life. I mean, he really does. He deserves to be able to relax and not worry about taking care of that farm anymore. He can't do it.
She did get permission from Eldridge for 1 cow. She asked him to put the agreement in writing and date it.
She was so skinny and malnourished and full of mites and worms. And now she looks so much better. Her nose is wet and she's so alert and she's very happy. To me, it's my cow and Heather's cow, and we named her Stella. And she's never gonna have a bad life again.
We went to Eldridge's house to get his side of the story. He took us through the fields so that we could see his livestock firsthand. He says he's owned the farm since 1974. While he denied an on-camera interview, he says it was a harsh winter and the cows were a little malnourished. He adds the roughly 75 cows he has now are doing better. Heather confirmed that information. Back to Stella. While her livelihood is on the rise, this story almost never got told. Welsh received a threatening phone call the night before we met for our interview.
Somebody has to stand up and be the voice for them, because I know this is not going to go away for those cows.
As for what could happen to Eldridge, the state's attorney would not comment on the possibilities. For Troubleshooters, I'm Jessica Cook.